Good evening, everyone. Jeff, it's wonderful to see you. I love you with all my heart. And I know that tonight will be a very healing, very spiritual journey for us together as star brother and sister.
Yes.
I'm on day 2 of radiation treatment. My hair is all slathered back with this Vaseline-like cream to keep my scalp from burning. I have 5 brain tumors and 5 satellite tumors that want to be brain tumors. They're not going to get a chance. The treatment is very, it's not terribly invasive. It's a lot of bright lights and spaceship stuff. And the care team that I have is amazing. I want to start the show tonight by saying that tonight, Jeffrey, you are the teacher. It is not me. I am the student tonight, as all of us are that participate in Soul School every week. You see the letters that we receive, honey. People who wait all week long for just an hour of us. Tonight, they get 2. But I have a story that I need to tell. And I have needed to liberate myself from this for quite some time. As virtually all of you know who are watching this, you are part of my journey, part of my healing journey. We are all healing together. We're all carrying wounds, some or others, some that are minor, some that can be rectified with relative ease, and some that take time. And what I'm going through right now is going to take some time. I have no doubt that I will come out on the other side of this because of the tens of thousands of you who pray for me and send me Reiki and wish me well. And, I know I look like an old Yankee Swamp hag Yoda tonight. I know, but I feel good and I feel happy. And I know last week was a shock when I got explosively angry for a very good reason, a really good reason. And some people were like, whoa, that's not our Annie. We don't know her. I mean, well, I'm a human being, or at least mostly. And when I am pushed and I am tested and I am shoved, then I respond because I am a mighty spiritual warrior and I will not tolerate fools. I just won't. So that said, I'm back to being my humble, happy self. I had a wonderful day. I went and had my treatment, and then we went and had lunch. My sister and I had lunch and laughed and played, and she spilled the ketchup, and it was funny. And stupid the moments, when you're facing something like I've been facing now, going into my 16th month of this, it alters your perspective in very significant ways. And I find that I notice every little thing. I noticed how the little pieces of the lettuce started falling out of her sandwich at the table today. And I just leaned over with a napkin and tucked it back in for her, and we smiled. And that was a precious moment. Mm-hmm. I am known far and wide as an open book. I am known far and wide as a loving woman who embraces all those who come into my space. I am known as a spiritual warrior for peace. According to John E.L. Tenney, I am been dubbed as the Queen of High Strangeness, which I think, is probably the most apropos. He is the king of the realm of the weird, so it works for both of us. The support, the love, the compassion, the tenderness, the gifts. Oh my God, how many of you people have my address? Lenny. I'm telling you, Lenny's giving my address out to everybody. She is. My birthday celebration that I didn't know I would have. So I want to go back a few minutes, Jeff, and if you want to break in or make any comment, honey, please do, because I'm going to be on a little bit of a roll here, but I'm going to need you very shortly to hold my hand through the worst of this. Okay?
Absolutely.
Okay, because it's time to tell the truth. People deserve to know the truth, and then I will not speak of it again. There will be no need. There will be no casting of dark spells. There will be no casting of aspersions. All that I am going to do is speak my truth and what I went through and what happened in this last year and a half or so. On June 12th of 2024, my mother passed away. Our mother passed away in this home. It was the most traumatizing, most difficult moments of my life. I did not care if I went with her or not because I was so sad, absolutely bereft, could not help with the end of life, had to wait for April to come get her. Cindy said, April, come get her now. Come take her now. And she did. And it was a very profoundly difficult moment in my life. And then there was everything that went with it. The funeral director and the music and the memorial service and pulling everything together. And we all worked diligently together as a family to make it the most beautiful memorial service. My dear friend, Erin, was there with us. So she knows, Erin Bush, she knows. It was lovely. And I was sick. I was very, very sick, Jeff. I had been sick. I went to Scotland sick. I had a body full of cancer, and I did not know it. All I knew is that Mom was gone, and I was sick, and it was hot, and I didn't know how I would even get through the memorial service. It was 98 degrees that day, and people kept ice packs on me and kept me hydrated. Erin. Erin. And we got through it. We got home. And everybody left a few days later. And then my sister Christine said, Anne, get in the car. We're going to the emergency room. And I said, not today. That did not wash. Within 10, 15 minutes, I was showered, ready, and on my way to the Villa Rica Tanner Medical Center emergency room. The blood work was perfect. They couldn't find anything. And I had a tumor in my breast that had ruptured and was spreading cancer all through my body. Before I left the hospital that day, I had an appointment with a surgeon. I had an appointment with my oncologist, and I had an entire care team ready to take me in at the hospital in Carrollton. And what I say to that is glory, hallelujah. these people have saved me. Now, I was given, for all intents and purposes, a death sentence. Once all the tests were done, and the CT scan, and then the PT scan, and then the PET scan, the this scan, the that scan, the this test, that I had, I think 10 incisions total for the biopsies, including through my rib cage into my upper right lung. It's hard to keep track. Lymph nodes, adrenal glands, vital organs being touched by this scourge of a disease that was all through my body. And here's number one rule for anyone out there who's paying close attention. Do not self-diagnose. Do not ignore it. Now, I am telling you that in the last 2 years of my mother's life, there was under no circumstances could I have been going through what I've been through since July of 2024. When your doctor says that your disease is inoperable and is incurable, and that she will do everything to buy me some time, basically get your affairs in order, you're coming to the end of your life. And my response to my brilliant Dr. Knight was, those words are irrelevant to me. This makes no sense to me. I'm going to survive this and then come back and visit you, and all will be right with the world. And she's like, from your lips to God's ears. She's a woman of faith. And we hold each other's hands, and we pray together in concert without saying a word. It is a magic that I have with her, and a magic that I have with my physician assistant, Krista, that is of faith and purity of heart. And they love me, and I love them, and we cook for them and bring them cake and brownies and soft, chewy, wonderful things to thank them every time we have a doctor's appointment. And there is my sister right there with me, sometimes turning away and not looking. But when I had my biopsies, Jeff, I told you this personally, 10 major incisions. And by the next day, within 24 hours, all of those incisions were healed, and all of the bandages had fallen off, and you could not see where any of those scars were. And that is divine. That is something that falls, as far as I am concerned, into the category of miraculous healing, and that is coming to me from thousands and countless thousands of people who care about me for some reason or another. Maybe just because I care about them, just because I love them, because they exist. I have been to hundreds of events all over this country, around the world. Mikey Thompson carried my heavy luggage for me in Scotland for 10 days because he could see I was struggling, and he didn't know with what. Neither did I. I didn't know with what. My mother did. And every morning when I brought her a cup of coffee in bed, she would cup her hand around the tumor in my breast, and she would pray. Well, that tumor is now approximately 1/10 of the size that it was all these many months ago. And it will be surgically removed, and there will be a period of time where you will cover Soul School and with your wonderful guests, and Deb DeRusse will cover A World Awakening, or Lenny and Jeff will, or somebody will if they want to do the show. you know, and give me a chance to heal now and get to a place where I am back to my fulsome warrior, where I will fight until I win. And my language is terrible and vulgar, and the cancer is so afraid of me and intimidated by me because I say things to it that would send anything running for the hills, because it has no place in my body. It has no place in my temple. What was the one time, Jeff, that Jesus got so angry that he flipped the tables in the temple?
Yeah. Yeah.
I got that kind of righteous indignation in me. But I never had a chance to really mourn. It's puppies. It's just puppies. Yep. I never had a chance to really mourn my mother. Mm-hmm. And then I saw some things happening that were extremely distressing to me, but that I had having to do with the farm, and I didn't know how to respond or react, because I always had, right from the inception, I had this wonderful relationship with Corey and Jen Heinzen. And I had unfettered access to the farm. If they wanted me to come up, I would come up. I would do events with them. We did some filming that was fantastic. We had a rich, long couple of years of history doing some wonderful things at the farm. Meanwhile, me walking around with a body full of cancer, not knowing, just doing it. You just keep going, right? So no time to really mourn my mother. No time but do much except pray to her and let her know that I now knew she was right, and that I knew she would help heal me. I knew that she would be a part of that. Well, some things began spiraling out of control, and there was a terrible, terrible fire at the farm. The barn burned. Not the whole barn. Enough of the barn to have done extraordinary damage to a relic, to one of the finest pieces of architecture left in the United States, with a history all its own. And that night, I got a call in the middle of the night that the barn was burning. And I don't think, just coming off Mom, I was plunged into a pit of despair, into the pit of despair. I didn't know if they were going to be able to salvage it. But when I got on Facebook and I saw that the Pascoag Fire District and that the Harrisville Fire District and all those wonderful volunteers from the town of Burrowville were up there on Round Top Road doing everything in their power to save that building, I dared to repost it and thank them. And what I got in return for that gesture, that extension of kindness and true gratitude, what I got was punched. What I got was castigated. What I got was told that it's not my job to control the narrative. That was the breach. That was the end. Nothing was ever the same again. And I felt nothing but loathing and contempt for letting that barn languish without even so much as a blue tarp for the course of a harsh, raw winter, to let it just languish as a gaping raw wound and do absolutely nothing to salvage it, has haunted me every moment of my life when all of my attention deserves to be on my own healing. But you see, Jeffrey, the road to my healing leads through the farm. And given the opportunity, that house will heal you. Given the opportunity, that house will spiritually illuminate your mind and bring you to a place of understanding that is something even beyond metaphysical. It is a sacred space. It is something sacred. And the only person that I trust is Jason. I know it like I know my own name. He's a man of such authenticity and deep personal integrity. We've known each other a very long time. We don't know how long we've known each other. It's just been so long we don't even remember. I've known the kids since they were little itty bitties. Satori is my adopted daughter. She is. I adore her. What I can tell you is that I know that the only way that this place can be preserved, protected, and defended as it coincides with the 250th anniversary of the founding of this country. That house was built 40 years before the signing of the Declaration of Independence. It is a true colonial era, magnificent edifice, a relic of its time, and it must be loved and cherished and protected. No matter what. Blowback, feedback. You're getting feedback, babe? No? Okay. And so I cannot help but be passionate about this. Part of me felt like I had been robbed again of the only place that's ever felt like home to me. And I started to lose hope, Jeff. And I also understood that at some point I needed to find my way to a place of peace and a place of forgiveness, because I cannot heal if I am writhing with disdain, if I am haunted by the images of that beautiful building. I know that it will take time. It will take a lot of money. But what has blown me away more than anything is the true unity. That it's beyond unity. It's not even unity. You know the Harrisville 7. You know who I'm talking about. The whole crew from the farm, right? Mm-hmm. These people wouldn't tell me anything. Now, these are my people. These are my people. And they protected me from so much of the interwebs and the fallout and the this and the that happened in one dramatic, chaotic scenario after another for months and months and months, so that I would have some peace and quiet, so that I would have the opportunity to take my medication every day and sleep when I needed to, and rake the yard when I needed to, and play with the puppies when I needed to give me my space, my time, so that they could keep information from me deliberately that would not be able to hurt me if I didn't know. Mm. And that's what they did for me. Corey and Jen and all of them, everyone that was on the show last week, that's the core crew. That's the crew that ran the farm for quite a bit of time, and flawlessly so. Jason wants to open it to everybody, wants it to be a place of a real, like a mystical awakening kind of a place where you can not only have the experience of spirit and enjoy the property itself, but that people can come through and have that experience in a way that is truly meaningful to them, that is that gives it its due as the special, very special place that it is. Not just a paranormal attraction, not a revolving door, nothing like that. It should be a place of community where we gather together and have wonderful cookouts and have wonderful events and, salvage that barn, bring that barn back, give her a whole new life again, like a resurrection of sorts, and fix everything that's wrong with that beat up old house that still has so much life left in it. And it is filled with life, and it is filled with afterlife. I don't know if I ever told you, but, one of them has passed away now, but I knew two elderly people, knew two elderly people years and years ago who, I've always described the farmhouse as a portal cleverly disguised as a farmhouse, but both of them had impairments, sensory impairments. One almost completely deaf and one almost completely blind. And when they would visit the farm, they would leave 3D and they would be in whatever dimension they were in the farm, and had full use of their faculties until they left the farm. That is something that needs to be studied.
Yeah.
It's not just the experience. I mean, so many times, people call me up, groups will go up, or, be doing a tour at night or something, and I'll know some of them, and my phone will ring. It'll be 11 o'clock at night, and they're like, Andrea, can you say hi to the spirits for us? Because we want to get all of our REM pods going. And I'm like, yep, there you go. Have a wonderful time. Everybody be respectful. No provoking. If you do, I'll find out about it. Don't even try. Just make light of it and let them know, because just the sound of my voice on a speakerphone activates that house. And I know that I have a very profound attachment to the house, and the house does to me. And to feel all these years like I've lost it and got it back, and lost it and got it back. And, when it's really the only place that brings me a place of complete comfort and peace, and my peace of mind needs to be restored around the farm, Jeff. Mm-hmm. It does. And I need to be able to find my way to forgiveness when I find what happened to be unforgivable. Mm. Now help me find my way on those golden cobblestones of forgiveness that will lead me to the path of redemption and righteous indignation that is resolved within myself to heal myself, to forgive for me, not for anyone else.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, a friend of mine, William Paul Young, author of the book, The Shack, I've heard him numerous times say brilliantly that holding on to bitterness, let's say, or just holding on to withholding forgiveness, let's say, is like drinking poison and expecting the offending party to die.
Right.
It's simply not how it works. We're the ones who suffer. And oftentimes offenders are the sorts who have long ago moved on. They're not really thinking about the offense, because that's the sorts of persons you're often dealing with. People who just leave a trail of offenses behind them are typically the sorts who aren't themselves sitting at home and thinking about what they did. We are the bearers of the wounds. We are the ones sitting around thinking. Meanwhile, they've moved on with their lives because that's the type of people you're often dealing with. And so we're the ones who suffer when we hold on, as you said. And forgiveness, in just, I don't want to overly religify this, but you know me, that's kind of my deal. The early church fathers made a really heavy emphasis on the concept of forgiveness and spoke of it as though it were the one thing that could, quote, separate a person from God, in essence. Now, I don't believe anyone can actually be objectively separated from the divine, because to be separated from the divine would be to be separated from the thing that upholds and animates you. It would be to be separated from being itself. And if one is separated from being, one ceases to be. So it's impossible. So we can't be objectively separated from the divine, but there can be a subjective experience of separation from the divine when we so live in disharmony with what it is that we repel or we impede the flow of it in our lives in certain areas, right? So in the Lord's Prayer that Jesus taught his disciples, when they specifically said to God, very God, a very God, teach us how to pray. I think he probably knows how it's done. He tells them one key point is pray this. Now, to pray this doesn't mean you literally have to mouth these words, but this is a principle of prayer. Forgive us our debts or our trespasses as we forgive those who have trespassed or sinned against us. So forgive us as we, right? Now, I don't know that the divine withholds forgiveness until you and I release forgiveness. I think we are forgiven. We are given mercy before we even think to ask of it, right? As the etymology of the word would suggest. But there can be an impeding of the flow of divine essence and life through us when we live in a way that's disharmonious with what it is by nature, which is forgiving and loving. And so there is an as we forgive us ours as we forgive others, that there is when we let go of it, there is a door that opens within us that lets that flow that's already there, that we're connected to, right? We're never not plugged in. It's impossible to not be plugged in or you'd be gone, but you can be plugged in and that there's no power flowing to that particular part because you've kind of shut it off, right?
Right.
The switch just isn't flipped, let's say. And so letting go is to open yourself up to something you've been closed off to. And so, yeah, forgiveness, it is for the other person sometimes, but sometimes it can't be about that. That can't be where we start sometimes, right? That can't be where we start. I think when we forgive, ultimately it opens us back up to the divine attributes, which chiefly is faith, hope, and love. And so when you open yourself back up to it, that love can begin to flow, and eventually you can live in forgiveness for the sake of the other person. But oftentimes with forgiveness, we have to just simply start. It's not selfish. We have to start by understanding that we're the ones who are suffering by holding on to offenses. We really are. Biblically speaking, the word offense is the same word that's used for snare, like a trap that would have been set.
It is a trap. It is.
It is. And it's a very alluring and a very seductive trap because, man, like you said, you feel a righteous indignation. What you feel is right. Right. The what you feel in the sense of the anger, that's why scripture also says, be angry, but don't sin. There can be a difference between those two things. But the righteous indignation part of it, that's real, man. We should feel that. There's stuff I see every day that comes across my news feed that I'm freaking pissed about, and I'm justified in feeling pissed about it. I should feel pissed off about it. If I don't feel pissed off about it, there's something wrong with me, right? My heart is dead. I should feel it. But there's a difference between feeling that righteous indignation and letting it seep into your soul, and causing you to cut yourself off from the flow of the thing that you truly need to be connected and plugged into. And I mean, I've done it on a much lesser scale than what you're talking about here. But I mean, I've had, even just over the last couple of months, a couple of things happen to me that I have had to consciously every day be in prayer that that spirit would allow me to remain in a posture of forgiveness, because I don't want to. I don't want to.
Yeah.
It feels good
to get pissed off. Sometimes it does.
And I just
for a reason.
I just had like a weird sense too to say to somebody that there is a sense of unforgiveness that you're holding on to, because I don't know if it was a romantic attachment or even just like a friendship. I don't know. But there was part of the reason you hold on to the unforgiveness is because you become so separated from a particular individual in your life that the emotion of anger you feel towards this person in your mind feels better than the lack of that person's presence in your life totally, or at least you think it does. And so you're holding on to the emotion because it still lets you feel like that person exists in part in your life, but you don't realize the damage it's doing to your soul. And that could be for someone very specific, or that could also even just be like a general shotgun kind of word for many people listening. But I just had a real weird sense to say that to somebody. So
Jeff, one of the things that I need to address about this is that part of me, there's a great book called Gullible's Travels. It should have been written for me. Great book, Gullible's Travels. I am pure of heart, almost in some ways infantile in my ability to love other people, and very trusting. And when occasionally in my life someone has shattered a trust, I cannot help but take it personally, and it hurts me, and it humiliates me, and it embarrasses me, and it makes me feel like I should have been smarter. I should have seen deeper. I should have been paying closer attention. I should not have fallen for anything. And yet I fell for everything. And to me, with someone, I'm not a particularly prideful person, and my ego got crushed outside a theater door decades ago when it got run over with a food truck. I am just me, but I am sweet, and I am soft, and I am kind, and I am gentle, and I am tender. And when someone deliberately hurts me, it hurts with a depth that has literally changed me. I'm not the same person that I was pre-diagnosis. I care about my life. I care about preserving that farm. I care about what that means, not only to my family legacy, but what it means to the country I love. And I have to find a way to get past the embarrassment and the humiliation that I was, for all intents and purposes, duped. It's hard to admit when you've been wrong about someone or something. It's hard to admit that you missed it. You just missed everything that was obvious in front of you. I take people at their word, and it's until they break that bond that I have to confront, one of the conflicts of life. We live in 3D. A lot of us don't agree about a lot of things and argue about a bunch of stuff, but this was different. This was different. This hurt me with a depth that I didn't think I could be touched anymore, if that makes any sense. That I was beyond that nobody could get to me like that again. And I was wrong. And it's hard to admit when you're wrong. And it's hard to admit that the people that sheltered me from the storm in a lot of ways saved me, because the depth of despair that I went into after that terrible tragedy, that terrible fire, was virtually impossible for me to extricate myself from, Jeff. I mean, I wasn't thinking beacon on the hill, let there be light. I was thinking, oh my God, this is the beginning of the end. Oh my God, she is lost to me forever. Oh my God, no one's going to step in and fix it. How could this even happen? And I labored with that every day and every night. And it detracted from my own ability to focus on my own physical healing. And it took me into dark space. Very often, I wouldn't call, I wouldn't ask, I wouldn't want to know what next, what's on the internet, what's out there, what meeting, what this, what that. I nothing. Completely, utterly insulated and isolated by people who cared more about my health and well-being than anything else. They knew there was nothing I could do, absolutely nothing I could do, except pray for the farm and pray that someone would step up and do the right thing, and that the whole notion of dereliction of duty finally came to a more positive outcome, which never happened. So this is my story, Jeff. Help me take my hand. Help me find a way to the path of the forgiveness that I need to find, so that I can sleep at night for more than a few hours without having visions that I wouldn't wish on anyone. Help me come to a place of hope again, that my heartfelt desire, I beg people, help us, $5, $10, throw in anything to help us save that barn, to help Jason secure that farm. There's just nothing in the world. It's all I ask. A share. It doesn't even, things are tight. Things are tight. People don't have money to throw around. And I appreciate that. But even just a smile and a share, because we as a community have come together in inexplicable ways to work in common cause toward one unified goal, which is to salvage the farm, to rescue the farm. The farm was abandoned. The farm needs to be saved. And, it'll never be the Conjuring House to me. It will always be the Richardson Arnold homestead, that place in the country, unlike any other place in the world. But it is a place of magic and mysticism. It is a place that takes you to the other side of the universe if you let it. It is the kind of place that once you experience it, you're never, ever the same again. And not going there looking for you, woo, shock and awe and all of that, but just to be able to walk the property and feel the energy, to feel the ground literally shaking beneath your feet, because 700 feet down beneath it is the lost river of New Hampshire that was buried during the last ice age, and you can feel it in the stone walls. I'm talking magic, Jeff.
Yeah.
Not just the spirits. Yes, the spirits, yes, but some I'm afraid some dark forces were allowed into that house.
Mm-hmm.
And there is need for cleansing and healing and purification.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a divine, sacred space. And I want the spirits to feel very, very much at home. It is their home.
Mm-hmm.
It was their home first.
Yeah.
And all I ever want to do is have those rare glimpses of, oh, there you are. Haven't seen you in a few decades, there you are. Having those moments when I'm there that in a way bring me back to life.
Yeah.
Make me feel a sense of belonging and wholeness. I guess I just have to let go.
Mm-hmm.
I just have to let go of being misled. And now just get past that and know that the man that I'm trying to help
mm-hmm.
is rock solid, mature, mm-hmm. very, very intelligent, and absolutely with his finger on the pulse of everything. I could not begin to keep up with what Jason Haas keeps up with. I do not. All I want to do is help from the periphery. Here I am. Yes, you need a comment for your article in the paper, or you need a little video, or you need a little of this, or an interview, or whatever, and just keep putting the word out that together in common cause, we as a paranormal community worldwide have the wherewithal to save this magnificent structure. And then have a place to come together and celebrate it. And I will be right smack in the middle of all of that, as long as Jason's willing to have me around, because it is my happy place. It is the place where I am. Oh, and I wanted to take a moment tonight too. I have a very close family of friends. As you well know, many, many friends, but one particular family that I'm very close with, and they're the Baldwin family from Massachusetts. And if you look behind me on the old antique organ, there is a bouquet of birthday roses that they sent to me that I put on prominent display tonight to acknowledge them and thank them for thinking of me. There was no guarantee I would see 67, Jeff. Mm-hmm. No guarantee at all.
Yeah.
And here I am, and here I go, and we will move on. But take my hand, my darling. Yeah. Tell me the things that I need to know that can bring me to a place of peace and hope in my heart again, that I dare to hope that Jason can salvage the farm, that we can rescue the farm. I have to be able to dare to hope that. That needs to be that beacon on the hill for me, that image that I look up at and say, this is going to be okay after all. Please, dear God, let this be okay after all. Please let everyone do the right thing. Let everyone come together. Let everyone heal the farm, and let all of us heal together and go through this journey as one.
Yeah. Well, I want to say, for one, your design, right? That innocence, that childlikeness, almost that willingness and desire to believe people.
Naivete, gullible.
And it is there is, there is some of that, but it's a gift.
Yeah, it's a gift.
I hate to say it, but it is, in a way, because you know what? Some people have lost that and have no ability to receive. Some people have been so hardened and jaded and become so calloused by life that they lost that. They lost that in their teens. They lost that before they were even adults, because they were so wounded and so hurt. And so I'm also kind of like that. I am. I just believe
You are a softie, honey. You really are a softie.
and
You are.
I mean, I cry at the drop of a hat. It doesn't matter what it is, whether it's a dog food commercial or Titanic or whatever. I'm a mess. I cry. I cry at everything. But my heart's like that. I'm a soft, tender-hearted person. I believe the best about people. If I've seen enough where I'm a little suspicious sometimes, but even then I tamp that down and try to be like, oh, well, but you know what? They're just having a whatever. I'm like that too. And I've had a recent experience with someone who I trusted and saw the best in, and it was misplaced. That trust was misplaced, obviously. And, so I get that. But there is a part of needing to maybe love and forgive that part of yourself that let that hurt in. And to know that, we want to call ourselves stupid and gullible and too naive and childish for doing this, but it's also one of the most beautiful things about a person. It's what makes you as receptive as you are to what you're receptive to. But those doors swing both ways, right? I mean,
well, you're saying embrace your own vulnerability.
Yeah. And if you're doors can and do swing both ways. I mean, so you can let in the good, but you can also let in the bad, and you can let the good out, you can let the bad out. If you have that proclivity and that gifting, it can move in several directions. And so that willingness maybe to trust the wrong person also manifests itself in a willingness to trust the right person now, which has become a movement. You know what I mean? I mean, even, my daughter's favorite YouTubers with, million strong subscribership, put up a thing just the other day influenced by your video that you put up. You know what I mean? In your willingness to trust Jason, in your willingness to trust the right person. You know what I mean? I'm driving my daughter to a football game tonight, and her two friends are in there, and they're talking about the fact that their favorite YouTubers are talking about my dad's friend, Andrea. You know what I mean? Well, she's also more than that, but you know what I mean? That's just but it's but your willingness to trust the right person has manifested now as this movement that very well could be, and I'm going to just go ahead and declare will be the thing that saves the farm, so those doors swing both ways. So I think you can forgive yourself for that. You can forgive that childlike, trusting, loving, wonder-filled Andrea that wants to believe the best, who maybe sometimes believes the best about the wrong person. Well, you know what? That is also one of the best things about you, and so I just wanted to speak to that and say, it's a beautiful thing. Jesus said you have to be as wise as a serpent, but as innocent as a dove. Some of us have way more of the dove-like innocence than we do the serpentine wisdom. And then others have much more of the serpentine wisdom than they do the dove-like innocence. And so there does have to be a balance struck. That's why we need people in our lives like those you have in your life who did protect you from some of the things that maybe they saw that you didn't. And so sometimes when we don't have it in our own person, Spirit sees fit to put people in our lives who make up for that deficit, we'll say. But some of us, it's not necessarily a deficit. We have to be stronger in one area so that we can be who we're meant to be in these other areas. It just kind of has to be that way. If we were all perfectly balanced, everything would be perfectly boring. It's just, it just can't be that way. And so the divine brings people into our lives who make up for maybe some of that serpentine wisdom we lack, or that dove-like innocence we lack. And as you said, you did have some in your life who did that. So what a gift to have people like that around us who love us. God Almighty, I know if I didn't have people like that in the cliffs I would have walked off out of sheer blissful ignorance, just walking around like the fool card, just looking around with my little pack on, just walking off the cliff, you know what I mean? And sometimes it turns out great and sometimes it does not. But I don't know. I just wanted to speak to that. And also even just say to people listening, there is virtue in being suspicious of people, because some people are predatory. There's a lot of predatory people out there. So there is virtuousness in having suspicion like that. And then for some of us, though, so some of us need to maybe cultivate a bit more of that because maybe we're a little too naive, we're a little too childlike. We just go into any van. If they have candy, well, they don't all mean well, right? You know what I'm saying? So like, you've got to learn to look with a little bit of a trained and suspicious eye at the world. But at the same time, it's so easy to get so jaded and so bitter and hardened that you just shut all of that innocence and all of that wonder off. And I did that a couple of years ago. I did. I had something happen to me that really knocked the wind out of my spiritual sails, you know, and you know a little bit about some of my stuff, you know, and that I've gone through. And I had something that really just knocked the wind out of me, knocked the wind, every bit of oomph and gusto and whatever that I had, it just knocked me down. Right. Yeah. And I got to this point where I just was like, dude, I don't want to get hurt like that ever again. I don't want anything like that to ever be able to affect me again. Kind of like, you know, what you said. And so I shut it all off, right? Because I was just like, I've got to just survive and get through and get things done that need to get done, keep the lights on and the lunch is packed and a roof over everybody's head. And I got to kind of like shut this off for right now because I can't do this. And I also do not want to ever have something like this happen again. So I'm just shutting it down for now so I can survive, you know? And sometimes you do have to do that. Like if you're in a state of depression, you got to kind of narrow your focus. You can't be looking at everything because you'll go crazy. You have to really narrow your focus and focus on a few things. That's kind of the equivalent of what I did, but I also kind of shut all of my emotions off because I didn't want to feel it, right? And then Christmas time came. And Christmas to me is the most magical. I love Christmas.
It is.
And I love Halloween. I know we probably got a lot of Halloween lovers listening. I'm one too. I love it. But Christmas is my thing, man. And I mean, I love it. I want my decorations up, you know, as soon as I can get them up. I love it. And I would leave them up as long as I can leave them up.
Honey, both of us left all of our stuff up till March or April.
I was going to say, you go back and watch our shows. I remember on Groundhog Day, my tree was still up in the
woods.
Yeah. Because technically, historically, Groundhog Day is the day after is when you're supposed to take it down, technically speaking. So like there's historical precedent for that. You're supposed to leave it up for a long time, but I love it. But this Christmas after that happened, I remember just sitting there and I'm like, I can't feel it. Like I can't feel it. Like, and I've always, I mean, Christmas is like the most magical thing in the world to me. I'm like a little kid. I love it. The scents, everything. I love it, but I could not.
The incense. Oh yeah.
Yeah. But there was nothing there. I was cold as ice to it. And I was like, it looks pretty. I like the decorations. I like it. Aesthetically beautiful, but I couldn't feel it. And that's when I realized, because in trying to protect myself, I shut one thing down, but didn't realize I shut it all down. Right. I shut it all down because sometimes that's how that works. And then I had to slowly kind of open it back up. And then, well, you know what? Guess what happened? I opened it back up and I could feel the joy again. I could feel the magic again. But then sure enough, the pain came with it. And I felt that too, because you really can't have one without the other. You know, you can't be open to one without being open to the other. And anyways, your sensitivity and your willingness to embrace it's a gift. And I bless that gift in you. I see it as a gift. And, you know, you don't have to beat yourself up for being a loving soul who has an innocence about you and a desire to believe the best. Unfortunately, not everyone is the best, and so that can get exploited, but that's on them. That's not on you. And that thing you carry is a gift, and it's what draws people to you, and it's what makes you the light that you are, and it's one of the things that the openness that there is to you, like when people meet you, they feel like they've known you like their whole life, your whole life, because that's that openness. It's just there. You're an open book. You're an open door. People meet you and they're like, oh, I feel like I've always known this person, you know, and that's a magical thing about you. It's why people feel you before you walk in the room. That's a gift, and you emanate light through that open door. You know, that's, you know, how the light gets in. Well, that's how the light gets into your sphere of influence, is through that openness that you just carry. So there are moments where that blessing can feel like a curse, but for the most part, for the world, it's been a blessing because it makes you who you are. And I certainly appreciate it, because that openness on your part welcomed me into your life. And there was no real reason for that to even happen, but it did. And it's been one of the greatest blessings the last 5 years to know you and be able to do this and be by your side and do this. So I speak to that part of you and I bless it. And I say, it's a beautiful and divine thing. And all darkness that has tried to pass through that open door of your love and wonder and innocence, we just cancel all of that and we break it off of you. And I am kind of speaking in a prayerful way now.
And I appreciate it. And I'm taking it in that way. Yes, please.
And we do. And we cleanse that door. We cleanse that door that is meant to we cleanse that door that is meant to let light in and let light out. And the dark handprints on the door jamb where things have passed through that ought not to have passed through, we cleanse those. And I just see just light just penetrating through into I just see like black greasy handprints on the door jambs and on the trim around what I'm seeing as that door that is that openness and that innocence that you carry where other things have passed through. We speak to that to be cleansed. We speak to it to be cleansed, and we say it is cleansed. It is, and it is now. And that door, I just declare right now that everything, okay, here's what I'm going to say. 2.5 years, it's just the number that comes to me, of darkness that has passed through, like a freight train now rushes out. 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 And now where there is a vacuum, light, love, peace, rest, health, wholeness rushes in. Rushes in. Where there is now a vacuum, it rushes in. And we just speak peace into you and over you. We say that you can and you'll forgive yourself and love yourself in this season. And in that loving of yourself, it will eventually come to a place where it manifests even as a love and as a compassion for the externals. But in this season, it is just going to like surround you, and you are going to come so in tune with yourself. You're not going to be judging yourself. You're not going to be beating yourself up for this, that, or the other. It's no more self-judgment, no more self-flagellation, no more. In this moment, I just speak total harmony to your being, total and complete harmony to your being. Every dissonant chord or note that's in the symphony that is your life right now, every player that makes up the symphony of your life, they all begin playing in the same key right now. They all begin playing in the same key right now, and there is a harmony. We declare angelic activity around you, bringing things into harmony. And everybody who's listening to this, if you could just, however you pray, however it is that you pray, because I know we all come from different backgrounds, but just join with me and just agree with me in these prayers, however it is that you do it. And but I just see such a unity, such a harmony coming to you in this season, where every like self-judgment, anything like that, it just all falls off. And you know, in this season, every choice, every decision, every move, it's brought you to this moment. This is where we are, and this is the only place we can be. It's all brought you here, so it's all part of the symphony. It's all part of it. Sometimes in tuning, there's some off notes. Sometimes there's a guy over here who breaks a string, but it's okay. It's all coming into harmony right now. And I just want to say, over the next 3 months, you will rest more than you've rested in the last 3 years. And more clarity, more vision, more impact, even in these 3 months of rest than you've had in the last 3 years. And you'll barely have to lift a finger because it will just come to you and it will just be. In fact, it's already started and it's already begun, and it will echo for decades what's happening right now. So we just declare that, and we just speak that over you. And Andrea felt to kind of do that. I didn't really plan on that, but that just kind of happened.
Perfect, Jeff. It's exactly what I need. Probably boring for the audience watching me meditate, but this is exactly what I need. Please don't stop.
Yeah.
I feel already my whole vibration has changed.
Yeah.
My frequency has changed. I feel warm and fuzzy and soft and pure, like a unicorn.
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah. And so we say it continues, right? It continues right now, that there is around you, even in this moment, there are angelic presences around you. There always are. They're always there. But
I feel them, yes.
Even in this season, you'll come to know it more. You'll come to be more aware of it. And even your unseen entourage.
I know them.
That is just upholding you in this season. Like there is like a stadium of spirit that is just cheering you on, right? In this season. And every time you feel weak, every time you feel defeated, every time you feel like there's been a misstep, I just want you to hear the cheers of like a whole stadium that's just watching you like you're the only thing going on. And they exist, and they have existed to stack on top of one another in this season to uphold you, right? And the great thing about it is all that's going, I really feel this strongly. The efficacy of the next 3 months will dwarf the last 3 years, but you'll do very little to make it happen. You'll do so little to make it happen. And so the stress can be taken off of you. Like the pressure to like perform and I got to get in as much as I can lifts. In fact, I just say to it to lift off of you. And everyone, again, please direct your intentions and your prayers and your energies toward that same thing right now as well. All of the pressure to like, you're very conscientious. You love your readers. You love your listeners. You don't want to let people down, but you feel like, but in this season, I just declare all of that stress and pressure lifts off of you. And part of it lifts because we all agree that in this season, you're being commissioned to rest and to heal so that you come back fully restored and then some. And so we, as your brothers and sisters, also take that pressure off of you. If you know what I mean, we release you from the pressure that we put on you, not meaning to, but because we love you so much that there are expectations that we put out. We take those off of you and we say, what we want from you is for you to be fully you, which means you rest and you heal. And from that posture of rest, you will do more. You will do more than you could otherwise do. There's a scripture that says, sit at my right hand until I make your enemies your footstool. So all of the negativity, all of that stuff doesn't fully come underneath us. It's not our footstool until we sit at my right hand.
Right.
Till I make your enemies your footstool. So there must be a posture of seatedness for that to be accomplished. And we might think we got to run out there and stomp on heads, but we don't. We just have to take our seat. And when we take our seat in the right place, all that needs to be beneath us just falls beneath us. And all we're doing is resting. All we're doing is putting our feet up on the ottoman, but in reality, we're triumphing over all of the things that we would otherwise be tripping over. And so we speak that over you. We give you as those who love you, as those who are fans and listeners and readers, we collectively give you permission to rest and to heal. And we place no expectations on you other than that. And we bless that season of rest. And we say, this is This is the cry of our hearts for you, not more, produce, do for us. We love you enough to release you from that pressure and say, rest. And we bless the healing in your body that's already taking place. We speak to every cell to come into agreement, to come into alignment with what was spoken over you the moment you were conceived, the moment you were born, when the divine spoke Andrea Perrin into being and dreamed its dream of you. We speak we speak to every cell in your body to come back into agreement with that which was spoken at the beginning. With that which was spoken at the beginning, all that contradicts, cease to be. Cease to be. And we bless you and we love you. Yeah. So friends, I want to encourage you all, keep doing this, keep Andrea in your thoughts and prayers like this every day, because look, you don't know. I'll say this to you, and I know this about Andrea just because I know you. I don't even know this
very well. You do,
and not even just because you've told it to me, but just I know you, right? And you're conscientious. You love people, you love, and those who love and support you, you love those people. And there is a pressure that comes with that of just never wanting to let people down, and we can often feel like resting is letting people down, because we need to be putting something before them, but people who love you and they want the best for you. And in this season, I really wanted your soul to hear, not just me saying it, but I wanted you to hear everyone who's watching this, because I know there's a horde. It's not the best way of speaking of them. I know there's a collection of people with me right now that are all agreeing in prayer for the same thing. And I want you to hear our voice collectively saying to you, there is no pressure on you to perform for us at all. And you're not letting us down. You're not letting anyone down by taking the rest that you need. And I just want all that. I just don't want you to feel that pressure. And I wanted you to feel in your soul permission to rest, because I know I'm that kind of person too. And I need to hear that in moments when I need to rest. So anyways, I really want to.
I think that, ultimately to go through this period of recovery is ultimately self-serving, because it will strengthen me to be able to get back out to do what I love to do the most,
exactly,
which is to be among my tribe.
Yeah.
Nothing makes me happier than, in third eye openings, and we're doing this and we're talking to the galactic family and who's got the laser pointer and prayer circles that just go on, and Reiki sessions and healing sessions. And when I work with Deb DeRoos, it's, Lenny and Jeff and I we went to UFO Contact not long ago. It was the most healing, most expressive, absolutely amazing experience for me. And I feel like when I am with my people, in my community, that is when I am at my very best. Mm-hmm. That is when, and believe me, there were times, Jeff, Lenny had to come find me. I kept getting lost, because I'm not in 3D when I'm at Houghton Lake.
Right.
I'm elsewhere. And, and come on, it's time for a little Reiki on the bottom of the bed, or it's a little time for some prayer circle, or it's time for the singing of the bowls, the beautiful singing bowls, and that resonating all through the event. But it's those moments that I have when I look up and I recognize eyes that I have known for a long time, I posted this morning on, I think it was this morning, I posted yesterday when I was with my charge nurse. Just as lovely as she could be. My whole care team is amazing. She stopped and she held me and she embraced me. Usually I'm the one that grabs people and hugs them first, but she grabbed me and she just stopped and she stared into my eyes and she just looked at me and she said, "Andrea, I can see an angel in your eyes." Now, she felt that level of faith.
Yeah.
She felt that level of my faith not being misplaced in them, but being squarely put where it needed to be. Yeah. They built me a mask. They are targeting tumors. These people are saving my life. And they do it with joy and wisdom and compassion.
Yeah.
And they do it with an open-heartedness that you can only hope to have from someone who is trying to bring you back to health.
Yeah.
I have been gloriously blessed by, I'm talking about dozens of people that are all over my case, all over it. It's truly humbling. It brings me to tears. Christine, poor Christine. Oh, my poor sister. Anne, why are you crying? Anne, why are you crying? Well, because they just played a piece of music I hadn't heard in 30 years on the radio in the waiting room at the oncologist's office. So you're crying because you haven't heard that song in 30 years? Yeah, I am, because I just realized what it meant to me 30 years ago, that it is still a part of my consciousness today. And if that brings me to tears and a certain level of sentimentality that most people never attain, that doesn't mean that what's happening to me is wrong. It means what's happening to me is beautiful, because love is the answer to every question. And I loved that song and had not heard it in so long, and it touched my heart. And there's nothing wrong with that.
No. And it's a gift. To feel is a gift. It seriously is. Like I said before, just that season I had of kind of shutting emotionally down to the point where I couldn't feel Christmas. You know what I mean? It's but to feel again, to have it all, I lost you there for a second. Am I still up for you? Can you see me?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. But I don't know, people, I had an experience on the plane. I flew to Florida last week for work, and I watched the same movie going down that I watched coming back, and then I watched it the very next day when I got home, and I bawled through it every time. And it's just those moments where you feel are such a gift, you know what I mean? Where you really are open and you feel it's such a gift. I ride that wave as long as I can, you know what I mean? So in moments like the one that you're in, especially when you're really sort of aware of mortality and you're aware of just everything, those moments come really strong, they come really strong, and you're really grateful for them in those seasons, and I haven't experienced what you're experiencing, but in moments of other sorts of crises, something as simple, as a song that comes across the radio can remind me that, okay, God's still good. The universe is still a good place. Not everything's out to destroy me. You know what I mean? Or like, I remember going through a really hard financial situation last year, and I walked and I just was like, God, just remind me that the universe is a hospitable place. Remind me that this creation in which you placed me isn't all just trying to kill me, because right now that's what it feels like. You know what I mean? It feels like everything out there is just trying to get a piece of me. And I remember walking out of the gas station, and it was just some people there handing out gift cards to a local restaurant. They said they're like, it's national, like, I don't know, do something nice day. I can't remember what it even was. And they gave me a gift card. I should have patronized the restaurant and used the gift card, but I'm also kind of busy, so I don't always have time to. But I have kept that gift card just at a place of prominence in my downstairs bathroom, so I see it every day, because it just reminded me in a moment. It was a simple gesture, but it was so beautiful in that moment when I needed it. It just reminded me of like, hey, look, not everything's trying to destroy you. Here's someone who was trying to do something nice for you. And it was simple. It was so simple, but it hit me like a freight train, because in that moment I needed it so deeply and desperately. And, you know, when we're going through it, the universe has a way of talking to us. God has a way of getting his message to us, you know, and it sometimes comes in the form of a song you hear in the waiting room. Sometimes it comes in the form of a smell that takes you back to when you were 7, you know, whatever. But God has his way of comforting us, for sure. So.
And making one's presence known.
Yes.
But it is also, because it goes both ways. Mm-hmm. My faith has deepened exponentially.
Yeah.
And I was always a woman of deep faith. Mm-hmm. I didn't even know that I could feel more deeply, that my faith could be solidified in the way that it has been. I never feel alone. I feel completely, utterly, totally surrounded by spirit all the time. And I listen to the words of Mother Mary. Mm-hmm. Let it be. Let it be.
Yeah. Yep.
John Lennon.
Yep.
Paul McCartney. Finger on the pulse of existence.
Yeah. Yeah. What a gift it is. What a gift it is.
Yeah.
I think it was Hans Urs von Balthasar, the Catholic scholar, who said that that's a mouthful of a name too, right?
It is a hell of a name. Yep.
So it's like, with a name like that, you better have something good to say.
You better. Yeah.
But he said that the poor are satisfied with little gifts, and he is referring to the beatitude of blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven.
Heaven.
Why does the kingdom belong to the poor? Well, they're the ones who recognize it most easily, because they're used to deprivation. And so every little thing to them is a gift. You know what I mean? The rich are desensitized to culture and art and class because they're surrounded by it. They're soaked in it. But the poor see the kingdom of God. The kingdom belongs to them because they recognize it in the smallest thing, because they're not desensitized to it. And so, like, sometimes in seasons like this, even where stuff feels like things get stripped, we're kind of reduced to just our essence, you know, and it happens in different ways, but I've had it happen I've had it happen through financial situations. I've had it happen through relational situations. I've had it happen with health scares and things like that, but where I am literally just reduced to like the simplest version of what I am, the core, the essence of who I am and what I am.
And me too. And you know what? It's very comfortable.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's very comfortable just to who I am, right at my granular soul core.
Yeah, that's what the Jesuit poet Gerard Manley Hopkins calls the immortal diamond, you know, when everything else is stripped away. That immortal diamond at the core of your being, which is who you are, which in his words would be Christ, or what we would call however one sees it. That's the core. That's who you are. And sometimes these situations come to us and they just strip out, they kick all the props, all the things that we've been leaning on and relying on, all the false identities, all the false selves that we've identified with. It kicks all those out from underneath us, and we find ourselves just like, okay, this is who I am. and you're stripped of everything else. And in those moments of stripping where everything is really stripped, you really truly find yourself as the poor in spirit, right? I mean, it's not all, you're poor in spirit. Everything's been stripped essentially. And it's you just as you are. And in those moments, that's when, and it's another beatitude that says, blessed are the pure in heart, for they will see God. So these things kind of stack on top of one another. The pure in heart often are those who have everything stripped from them, and they're able to then see God where they normally would not have seen God, because now everything's been stripped. Now they're the poor in spirit. So there's a purity that comes in poverty, in spiritual poverty, if you will, that allows you to perceive the divine in everything. And I'll say this: the best times in my life, in hindsight, are have been the technically worst times, because of the times I look back and realize that I had everything taken from me, but the one thing that can't be taken. And it was in that season that I became more conscious and more aware of things that I was otherwise too distracted to notice. And those were the moments and seasons of life that left the biggest impact on me, that really have made me the man that I am. And yeah, there's some of them I wouldn't want to go back and redo the actual experience itself. But when I actually think of what it gave me and what I gained from it, I almost have to say, I think I'd have to, because I wouldn't want to be anyone other than who I am. I wouldn't want to go through the pain to get there, but there's gifts along the way, man. And thank God for eyes, spiritually and physically, to see them and perceive them.
Jeffrey.
Yes.
In moments of contemplation yesterday, and, as we started with the mask making earlier in the week, and it's been a couple of weeks of, how can I even be getting through this? How can all of, and everything is flowing so beautiful, and everything is falling directly into place. And I was sitting in the atrium at the hospital this morning, and I was thinking about doing the show with you tonight, and knowing how healing and purifying it would be for me. And suddenly, as the sun is just beaming through the glass and landing on my face and making me hot, I thought, I have brain cancer. This could turn out to be one hell of a blessing. Because I know how to get through to the other side of this. And I've got a doctor that stood in front of me and said, honey, don't worry about a thing. I've got your back. He's like, this is sexy science. This is nothing like what your poor mother went through 30 years ago with radiation and a breast tumor.
Yeah.
Nothing like it. And I sat there, and for a moment I felt this sense of gratitude that I have cancer in my brain that they can fix, and make go away. And that, wow, isn't this amazing? And I felt awash with happiness. It seems so counterintuitive to how I should be thinking about this. It seems so. Is that like, that's the phrase? I guess I'm struggling for the words, but it just, and counterintuitive.
Yeah.
Like, how can I be thinking that somehow there's a greater, deeper blessing, and that blessing is where I will find my way to the other side. And then I will write, and I will share, and I will talk, and I will help heal others. and show them my journey and know that they took it with me and that all of us healed together, because what I'm going through is cracking a lot of people wide open.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and it is counterintuitive, and that's what it means to walk by faith, not by sight. Faith is counterintuitive. You know what I mean? It really is. And but that's exactly what that is, and what a gift and what a blessing. And that's that's kind of what I meant before too, about like that sense of, you know, what you might call a naivete or gullibility, you might say. But that's that gift. That is that gift that you carry too, that in a moment like that can let in wonder, awe, gratefulness at something that really is the most terrifying thing in the world for most people. You know, a word that sends shivers down people's spines. You thought to yourself, this could be a hell of a blessing. You know, I mean, that is faith at work in you. That is that childlikeness that it could be very easy to want to jettison in the name of protecting yourself. But that's the very thing that makes you open to moments like that. And that's why it's a gift.
I'm so touched. I am. Bill, find out if Bill is in the back room, honey. Bill.
He's here. Yeah.
He's here.
Yeah.
I would like him to just come up for a few minutes. Yeah. Because I need to acknowledge him.
I got to visit.
And there's the pussy cat.
Yep.
And there's the beautiful pussy cat.
This is, which one are you? This is Poe. Which I don't know what that name came from, but somebody named him that. So that's what we started.
Oh, that's...
I'm in the dark.
Why? Is your internet down, babe? What's going on?
No, I just like to be in the dark when I'm behind the scenes.
Oh, okay. Well...
You don't have to acknowledge me. I know how much we all love each other here. Jeff, you and I have conversations before we even start the show. You know, a lot of what the public sees is one thing, but we, like a lot of people that know you, we have private conversations.
Yes.
And those are private. It is when you decide you want to discuss something like you're doing tonight, which I think is very important, all the issues you guys brought up tonight. But yes, I am honored to be your friend. I love you. You know how much. You know, so I am in the dark because even though I got the tan color, I still could blush.
Oh, so precious.
So yeah, I mean, I don't know if you mentioned yet, but hopefully, you know, you're a fighter. You're gonna get through this. You're gonna do your due diligence, and so are the doctors and everyone that's caring for you, and all the support you have here, the love, all that positive energy. You know, we all got your back. So she's going to, I don't know if you announced it, but she's going to be taking a hiatus because she needs to take a hiatus to address these issues so she can concentrate on that. And trust me, and Jeff knows this. This is the stuff that goes on behind the scenes. Annie does not like to not do live shows. Mm-hmm. Even if she's like feeling the worst or whatever, I got to do a live show. You know, it's like we got to tell her, just take the time. But that's her drive and determination, because she loves all of you. You're part of her family. And it's true. You have no idea. I mean, Deb DeRusse, well, you know, we all got your ear. We're like, Annie, take a little break. You need a little break. But it's because we love you and we want to see you battle through this and do what you have to do and not worry about doing a show. Jeff, I'm sure he'll carry the torch for Soul School, and maybe Deb can do some guest hosting for the interim for World Awakening. So, and I'll be here no matter what. So we got your back. I think it's great that you take some time. You're going to be appearing on other platforms as well. You know, it's not like you're going to stop completely, because you don't stop completely.
No, I know. No, I'm doing a show with Deb and Dana Stricker on Sunday night at 8:00. Yeah, right now I've got the World Series is on TV. I'm every now and then I just take a peek, see what the score is. but there are going to be events, and there are going to be interviews and stuff that I do, that I hop in, that I, kick on 15, 20 minutes here or an hour there. And being with Deb and Dana Stricker is just a laugh riot.
Heck yes. That alone lifts your spirit, because you know what? Humor is a great resource. When I was in the hospital 2 years ago, and people,
I remember,
I did a live stream from the freaking ER. I was like, but that's my way of dealing with it. Humor. I knew it was really life-threatening serious, but at the same time, what am I going to do? All I could do is like, oh my God, look what happened. I'm here. That's how I do. We all have our ways of dealing with things. That's my way of dealing. But you know what? We've got the family here ready to step in. I know Lynn, her husband.
Yes.
Dad. I mean, everybody will say, I'm in. I'll be there.
Yeah.
So Jeff, I'm sure he's going to have Aaron and other guests on, and I can go on with individuals too, because I got a big mouth. So we'll be fine. You take that much needed break and take care of what you need to, because we love you. Mm-hmm. And we know that, but Jeff, help me out here.
Yeah. Yeah, we got you. We got you. Yeah, no. We're not going to miss it. I mean, now look, anytime like you're off and I have a guest on, I always try to bring on like two, and I make the comment it's going to take two guests and me to make up for one Andrea not being here. You know what I mean? However,
boom. That's funny.
However, there he is. Yeah, we'll take care of it. You know what I mean? We will take care of it. And we want you well and rested, and we'll take care of it. We won't miss a beat.
And I will, let everybody know I'm doing. I've been pretty good, I think. I haven't tried to hide anything.
Yeah.
There's what would be the point of that? I mean, how can we all go through the journey together if people don't know what's actually happening?
Right.
Which is why it was important for me to do this show tonight, because I think that my personal liberation, my personal freedom from an untenable situation was extremely important for me in terms of my own healing journey. I needed to let people know that this is what happened. This is how it happened. This is why it happened. This is why it can never happen again. And I love Jason Hawes, and please help us save the farm.
Well, you just read my mind, because somebody said, because I said something when I was with Cody Satori, Ken, with the team. I said, oh my God, when I was in the basement. So I want to have an oh my God moment with you, all of them in the farmhouse. I want to have that moment in the future with all of us together. Hopefully it's going to happen. I think I'm praying and, supportive of it. But
thank you.
I mean, you know what I mean? We all got to get together and have that moment together, hanging out and enjoying it, each other's company.
I have visions of, when we lived there so many years ago, my father and my Uncle Donald built 10 picnic tables. And I mean, they weren't kidding around. This was nothing slipshod operation. There were power tools. There were hours and hours and hours of building the most beautiful picnic tables. And we would have big cookouts. Dad and Donald dug a pit on the side of the house, a cook pit, and we would have old fashioned New England clam bakes and all the sweet corn plucked right out of the garden. And we would invite 50, 60, 70 people our neighbors, our friends from all over town, all of our high school friends. And we would have big, huge cookouts on that massive piece of property. And those were moments of joy. We would be playing baseball in the backfield, and we would, be down fishing down off the Nipmuc River, right off the bridge, just fishing together and being children, and loving each other and enjoying our friendships and sharing that property. And in my mind's eye, in that part of me that has such generosity of spirit that I want to share everything with everyone. I want the farm to become a place of community and peace and light and hope and love, because everything about that place is magical and mystical, and it has a gift for everyone. It has a gift for everyone, and I know it is integral to my path to healing. I know that it is.
I will interject this. I know it's known for the more of the paranormal activity, but that's not it. This is a hub of multiple types of activity, including, I don't like using UAP. I'm a UFO guy.
Me too. I'm a UFO guy. Yep.
You know what I mean? It's like, but I really would like to have like all of us, maybe on a summer night when it's nice and warm.
Yeah.
I don't know how bugs are there like here, but
oh no, they're the size of Volkswagens.
But I want to do like an outdoor sky watch.
Yeah,
I've got the equipment. I even got a big projector screen. I got all the equipment.
I know what you've got.
So I would love all of us at some point also to be outdoors, have a festive time. I don't know if a campfire is allowed there.
Yes, of course. Yes.
No, we can have such a great time. People play music, play guitars, whatever, and just have that family unit coming together. Because I don't know if you guys done this, but I've done this many times, being in that campfire environment.
Yeah.
It's amazing how it brings people together. Everybody's more relaxed. It's just such a great energy. So I would love to be a part of that in the future. And I think we all will be a part of that in the future.
I do too.
Jason's effort and your effort and everyone out there's effort that is watching and listening to this on KGRA audio.
Yes.
Please be supportive of what's going on, the GoFundMe page. What is exactly, is it Save the Conjuring House? What's the name of the page?
You know what? I don't know. I'm going to have to find
someone in chat can
let me put it up in chat.
Yes, if someone in chat can please provide that so we can mention that part on the radio side because it's global.
Yeah, and it's kind of everywhere. I mean, even GoFundMe is so blown away by the amount of funds that have been raised that they're already somebody told me that they were advertising it on their TikTok page. That's amazing. It's like, here, pay attention to this GoFundMe.
It is Save the Conjuring House. I'm going to do a TikTok upload myself.
Thank you.
And we all should do whatever we can. Listen, it's not about just the money. It's helping out any way you could in other avenues. Just like Annie just mentioned about somebody putting up a TikTok post about supporting this cause and putting the word out there. That is just as important than actually putting money in, because you're putting in that effort to help bring people together and contribute and help any way they can.
Well, a lot of people are very interested in having a vested interest. It doesn't need to be a lot. It just, just to be able to say, I helped do this. I helped do this.
Let me show you this. I think this is so awesome. And it's a young person who's really motivated and passionate about the paranormal. You know this. And look what Brady did with his sister. My sister and I put flyers up around town and in some restaurants and business. That's what it's about. Things like that, just to get the word out. Paranormal Empire. Yes, we've been promoting it on TikTok. You're seeing this all around.
thank you so much. I am so deeply grateful. Anything that we can do to help Jason. You know, I mean, this is a man who's so on his game. It's ridiculous. I mean, he probably doesn't need jack from me. But what he has is my trust and my goodwill. What he has is my ability to see into his soul. I'll never, ever, ever say I made a mistake about Jason Hawes. Not from the moment we met. A man of personal integrity. I hold him in very high regard.
What you just said is what I seen last week when he was on with everyone.
Yep.
It's not about him. If it was up to him, you know, this is a lot to take on. I mean,
a lot.
He said he's happy. He's been doing it for decades. He's in a good place in life. It's not like he's doing this for his own personal selfish interest. He's doing this for the community, for everyone. You know,
but Bill, he's doing it for me.
Yes, he said that. He did say that because you went and you approached him with this. He did.
4-minute video, just a pathetic swamp. I mean, I looked like a swamp hag that day. I did. 4-minute video. Please, Jason, please. Oh, please, dear God. Oh, please, Jason, please. And he said yes, that he would try. He said yes, that he would try, which turned his life upside down. And he said to me, don't ever apologize for setting a fire in my belly, Annie. I mean, how beautiful is that? How extraordinary.
And you see the guy next to you on the screen?
I do.
That is an amazing individual right there.
I know.
Jeff, I don't know if you do know this, but I'm going to say it. And I'll speak probably for a lot of people in that chat. Your words of wisdom, encouragement, you know, building people's positive energy, faith, however you want to label it, I have to say kudos to you for what you do, your part on Soul School. And that's why it is important, not just to Annie, but to me as well, that you carry that torch while she's away for a bit.
You are my inspiration, Jeff.
For real, dude. I mean, I'm not saying this I'm saying it for real.
For real.
I always look at it this way. Even if you say something that changes one person's life in a positive way, you've changed somebody's life. It's so important. Because we all need to be part of making that change for the betterment of the whole, bringing people together. There's so much divisive stuff going on out there. People need to come together, despite our differences of opinion, all that. It never used to be about that. Even though we had those differences, we still found a way to come together. Families, friends, co-workers, neighbors. Community. So your words inspire people. It's a word of positive energy. I cannot say enough about what you do. As like she said, you're an inspiration. You're also an inspiration to me and to other people that are watching this show. So I know you're a humble person. But I'll say it. I'll say it for you. How's that?
Oh, I appreciate it, guys. Thank you very much. That means a lot. Thank you.
So
I know that we're just about out of time for the evening.
Mm-hmm.
And you buy me a new atomic clock for Christmas. I had to do that before because it's good. We got a little hiatus with you, so I had to sneak that in because you always bust my chops with the atomic clock, and so do they in chat. Jeff is fine. Jeff will be fine. But I joke because you know how much I love you, and we'll be talking. It's not like we're not gonna talk, but I'm sure everybody. I know Jeff. And I and Deb will do our part to keep everybody informed because you're so open and honest about everything that's going on. So whatever you tell us that you want us to put the word out there during Jeff's show or when Deb is stepping or whoever is going to be taking their part, we will do that for you.
Thank you. Thank you. Because I want people to still feel engaged and be involved. And I want them to be part of my healing journey so that we can all flip over and float together.
Yes.
Because, the thing is that, for those who have a particular emotional attachment to me, this has hurt them too. This is, I've had, people have been frantic, like, oh my God, no, Andrea, no, this can't be happening. No, this cannot be. And my reaction is, take my hand and help me heal. Take my hand and help me heal, because I can do this, because I am not alone on this journey. And I am deeply, deeply, profoundly grateful to everyone who walks this walk with me as we find our way back to health and wholeness and purity and faith and love. And so tonight, as we close the show out and I say goodbye for a while, I want you to know that you must never, ever relinquish your right to claim this world, to make it the place that you want it to be, to love it and to love each other with a purity and an openness of heart and spirituality and generousness that will help heal the entire world. And so I declare, thank you for being my teachers tonight on Soul School. And our class is dismissed with the mantra, be, always be the light you seek. I love you all. Good night. Thank you.
Peace.
Good night.